Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Good, bad, iffy? This is the week when everybody's like, so I'm going to be leading your call today. If you guys have any nutrition specific questions or need a little bit of help with your progress or flipping your switch, I am the girl to ask. So first of all, if you are feeling achy, if you are feeling a little bit lethargic, if you are wondering if this is going to work for you, that is all normal. This is the time that is so challenging in the program because many of us, one, have never stuck to a program for this long, and two, have never been in this kind of situation before where there is so much green in their diet. So I also have a little bit of the flu, so if I stop and have a coughing fit, that is why. So this call is really to reassure you that it really is all going to be okay. I know that some of you are very cranky. I know that some of you might be a little bit hateful towards WildFit right now. I promise it will pass. So with that, I'm just going to open it right up to our check-ins and we'll get right into it and hit on some things as we go along. So who has some questions that they might like to share? Questions, comments, progress? All righty.
It's Julie.
Hi, Julie. You see me struggling? I'm like...
I'm sorry, yes. Yes, the name is not quite... So I'm really feeling like flu-like symptoms. I mean, inside I don't feel like the flu, but my legs are achy, my arms are achy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lethargic. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how long is this going to last?
Well, I bet one of your primary progress markers is losing weight. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, and you might have already been told this, but this is a great time to remind you. Our fat holds our toxins. And our fat can get really old. Some people have been holding on to fat for decades, right? And in that fat, we have decades worth of toxins, chemical residues, everything is built up there. So if at this point you are starting to release weight, or your body is getting ready to have a huge release of weight, you are releasing those toxins at the same time. And this can cause detox symptoms, which are very flu-like. So I would really encourage you, if possible, to even have a little bit more Alka-Geyser, to drink a little bit more water, to have magnesium and Epsom salt baths, anything that you can to aid in that detox, and it will really help with your progress.
Okay, because I have lost 20 pounds. Well, I've lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, so I mean, the weight loss is coming.
How do you feel about that?
Good, except I just feel terrible. Like I just feel like I have the flu, and it's hard to just keep going every day feeling like, you know, you have the flu. So, but I do understand the concept that the fat is old. I do, and I wondered about that. I was thinking, like, I'm kind of like one of those mastodons or something that's been frozen for years, and you know. And now everything's coming out of that ice. Yes. So I understand that concept. I just wondered if that was, you know, what other people are feeling. So, okay. So would you suggest like taking, I haven't taken anything, but maybe I should just take Aleve or Tylenol or?
If you really need the drugs to help with your symptoms, but the symptoms are going to continue until your body is finished detoxing. Some of us have relatively clean fat, and others don't. And usually living in the modern world, we all have certain amounts of pollution in our bodies. Okay. So as that is happening, you may continue to feel those symptoms. You also have to remember that your body now at 8 weeks is so much more sensitive to these kind of, like, you might not have even felt that before you start the program, right? So it's just now that you're more sensitive, you're more tuned in, that they're going to feel a little bit more heightened. So if there's something that you would like to take that is sugar-free and hopefully chemical-free, it's hard to find in the pharmaceutical world, but if you believe that would help you, there's nothing in the program against that. But if it's you know, tolerable, and there are things like essential oils or a really nice Epsom salt bath or something that could help you instead, that would be preferred.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Judy. Good to hear from you.
Okay.
Anyone else? TD, was that you waving?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, TD, you waving at me?
Yes. So, can you hear me?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing brilliant.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So, I guess it's important for me to share this with the group because for those of you that don't know, this is my second time through WildFit. And I've had like some serious problems with food, right? Food is far more of like, has been like an addiction for me. Prior to meeting Eric, I would have nights where I could consume somewhere between the neighborhood 15 to 30,000 calories in junk food before I went to bed. And so I had some very bad eating habits. I've been through a lot of stuff this second time around, and what I wanted to share with you guys is like right now I feel amazing. I'm in control of my eating. I'm not hungry. I don't have any of those lethargic feelings you guys are talking about, and it's quite possible because my second time through I actually did like that release of old fat, and so my fat may not be as toxic as what maybe some of you guys are experiencing. So I thought I'd just share that so that everyone knows that like I feel incredible. I'm full of energy. I get up in the morning with lots of energy, and my taste buds are starting to change. And like I said, I feel really in control of my eating now. And I haven't had junk food in a couple of weeks now. There's a couple of crash moments, but you know, I've been through a bunch of stress. We just moved. Apparently moving is a big stressful time, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, it is for a lot of people.
And so
well, TD, you're looking really good. Really, really good from the last time I saw you. And you can tell that the energy is just like exuding out of your face. So that is really good as well.
Yeah, no,
I want to just talk for a second and see if you notice when you do have the junk food, when you have those moments, as you say, how does your body respond? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah, no, and I talked about this in that long letter I wrote on the Facebook that as an addict, what I love is the effect. What I don't like is the results. And it was the same thing with drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, you know, problems with shopping, bad relationships. Okay, again, it's always instant gratification, short-term thinking that leads to, yeah, like, you know, the chocolate, the potato chips, fantastic going in. But yeah, later on, just feel horrible. Wake up feeling like these people are describing, lethargic and flu-like symptoms and things like that.
Well, I think that it's really amazing that you're tuned in now and that you are so much more aware of those reactions. And it seems like you've made really, really good progress.
I have, yes.
That's so good to hear.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else like to share? Hi, Svetlana.
Hi everyone. Okay, the result is awesome because I joined program just for my energy level, And just to find out how can I improve my eating habits with alkalizers, with smoothies, and lost weight wasn't an issue, kind of. But when like 3 days ago, I realized that my stomach much more flatter. I'm like, wow, it gives results not only for energy, but still. Last week, this week, I know I will do my best, but still, I'm really craving for sugar, for chocolate. And right now, if I notice, I'm eating like nuts because I really want something sweet. I'm really, it's like I'm just craving, and I'm like, okay, how can I handle that? And last week, I had like 1 centimeter of my healthy bar, and this bar have 2 grams sugar. And I know I didn't eat even half of that. I ate only 1 centimeter, but it gave me such a huge release. Even after that, I thought like, okay, nothing happened. It just, I just kind of, yeah, realization was I shouldn't do it, but still, right now, I still really craving for chocolate, really, for something sweet, even like bar, just something. How can I get through this week without my cravings? What should I do?
Because right now it's a few different things, and it's all coming at you with the same message, which is, why am I doing this? You know, for some of us, like TD, if you're feeling really great, then it's easy to continue, right? Like Julie, on the other hand, I'm trying to say Julie with my nose because my it's coming out like D's. Anyway, so where she's having her flu-like symptoms, then it's a little bit more difficult for her to, you know, stick with it and have that motivation there. Because, you know, it's the physical symptoms. Your body is used to getting the dopamine and the serotonin that it wants, those like happy hormones from the food that you're eating. So before, if you needed a little pick-me-up, you would just reach for some chocolate or something sweet. And then you'd immediately have that reaction without even thinking about it. So now you are consciously aware, well, that is not the way to get those feelings that I want. And also you're consciously following all of your decisions that you're making around food. And you have Eric telling you don't do that. So it's, you know, you're fighting against yourself in this way. Mm-hmm. So what I can tell you is it's a really good time for you to explore that connection to food. So you're looking for something sweet. Look at your 6 hungers. Is it that you are really, really actually physically wanting that sweetness? Or is it emotional? Are you looking for connection or closeness? Is it boredom? Is it restlessness? So even if you're just taking the time when you have that, like, oh, I wish I could have something sweet, and you go through the process of why you want it, 1, that will distract you from the craving, and 2, it will help you to really get into that sugar monster, that food devil, because he is going to be screaming at you so loudly this week, like, you are a crazy person. Why are you doing this program? I don't understand this. Where is this actually going to get me? You know, like any of these things and more. It's your food devil, your sugar monster is completely irrational at this point for most people, for a lot of people. So I would say, Svetlana, just to really explore that. I mean, you're on track with the nuts. Those healthy fats are really going to help. At this point, we really just want to be encouraging the body to make that switch, to flip the switch. And you're going to do that with healthy fats, with lots of minerals, mineral salts, through sea vegetables and those kind of things. That's what's really going to help you. So yes, it is difficult. No, there's no quick fix. Next time that you have a sweet craving, and this goes for everybody, there are a few little hacks that you can do. 1, try your 5 breath exercise. That will help if it's, you know, restlessness or stress that's getting you wanting that sugar. The other one is you might actually just be hungry. I'm sure everyone at this point is getting used to knowing when they're actually hungry, but sometimes we get distracted. So if that's the case, eat something else. And if it's just like a really prominent, like I need something, try to eat something bitter. When you eat something bitter, so whether it's a bitter vegetable or some kind of bitter herb, it signals your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is kind of your main brain to brain, like your tummy brain to your head brain connector. So when you have something bitter, it sends a sensation down to your stomach, and it makes your stomach realize that it maybe doesn't need that that sweetness that you're craving. And it also, because bitter foods tend to have a lot of minerals, it will satisfy that craving physically without you even realizing it. So I would say try those things, and hopefully something will work for you. And worst comes to worst, the group is always there to support you.
Can you please give some samples of bitter vegetables? Just 2-3 options.
Dark leafy greens are very bitter, and most herbs, so like rosemary, has a bitter undertone. If you can get your hands on some sage, fresh sage, it has a very bitter undertone. So it has a little bit of sweet, but then underneath it's quite bitter. So those should work for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Good to talk to you. Anyone else like to share other feeling? I'd also love to hear about your successes. So when we talk about progress, and especially right now when it's so difficult, it's really great to make a list, whether it's a mental list or an actual physical list of all of the things that we noticed so far that we are making progress on, right? As we climb that mountain, we want to have all of these things that keep us going. Has anyone unearthed a new progress marker that they weren't aware of before? You guys are so quiet this week. Must be part of the grumpiness. Dan, I see you're laughing at me.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just thought it was funny when you said part of the grumpiness. But actually, I've been feeling pretty good. But now something does make more sense to me after Julie was talking about the flu-like symptoms. The first week of spring, the first 3 days of spring, I actually was in bed with what I thought was the flu, but it went away so quickly. I thought, wow, there's like 3 days, no lingering effects, aches and pains are gone, and I have energy again. And I thought I had the flu because I was at a conference. There was like 300 other people there, and a lot of people were coughing and sneezing. So I thought I must have picked up something. But now I'm thinking it might have been like instant detox, because it was, like I said, the first 3 days of spring. Then I've been feeling great since then. But I've also noticed that over the first 5 weeks, I think I dropped 8 pounds, but in the last week I dropped another 6. So it's the detoxing has definitely been like shedding everything very quickly.
Yeah, very true.
I don't think of anything else that's been going on.
And it's so unfair. It usually is the guys that are just like, yeah, it's going great, losing weight, feeling good throughout most of the program.
The thing is, I was on just like last year, the first time I heard Eric speak, and I thought, geez, I want to try this program. I had just started dating somebody who had been doing the paleo diet, and she's like, oh, I've been living this for years. I can walk you through it. And it was fantastic, and I shed a lot of weight last year until Christmas came along.
Mm-hmm. You were saying, I remember.
Amazingly, during Christmas, I somehow managed to put on about almost 20 pounds. I think I put on 18 pounds over like about 3 weeks, and it's been with me ever since. And so I just don't think I had that much toxicity built up inside me, which is why it hit me right away and went away very quickly. Mm-hmm. But right now, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. So
that is so good to hear.
Well, see, what happened too is the reason I joined the program after hearing Eric talk this year is because when Christmas hit, my food devil just slaughtered my girlfriend's food angel, and I got her into all my bad. And she started developing skin conditions, and she was just in bad shape. She's like, I have to get back to my diet. And then I told her I was doing this, and she said, oh, thank God, because I don't think I could withstand like your potato chips and all that other crap you eat. So it's this has actually helped her a lot too, just me being on this program.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, you guys are, when we do this, we relearn how we are meant to eat, how we are meant to function as human beings. Most of us from early life have been so desensitized to that way of living, that lifestyle, that we don't even know how good we can feel. We don't know how well our bodies can function. So if you were doing paleo with your girlfriend, you started to eliminate all of that fat, your body's getting into a fat burning state of being, and it's like, oh, this is normal. And then Christmas hits, your body's like, oh, great, this is also normal, you know? And it's starting to prepare for real winter, as if you were like a cave person. So the weight probably went on faster because your body actually is more efficient.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that kind of weird?
That actually makes a lot of sense, and that explains why it disappeared so quickly this time, because my experience last year has already put me into a bit of a seasonal mode.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
And after you go through a major flush of toxins, your body will become accustomed to this way, because as Eric has talked about, our body is meant to fluctuate. We're meant to gain weight in the fall. We're meant to lose it again in the spring. That's just the way the human body works. That's why we have this capability of adding fat in the first place. So once we get rid of all that old garbage, it will cycle within a few pounds, but we're also letting go of that attachment to the scale. So it's going to be more important how we're feeling than how much we weigh, right?
Yeah, well, I know I saw some body mass index chart that said I should weigh 175 pounds, and I thought, if I weighed 175 pounds, I don't think I could lift myself up. It seems like there would be nothing there to actually, like, push up. So, and I find I do feel best if I'm between 190 and 195, which is about where I am right now. So, I'm at target, what I thought was my target. I'll see what happens for the rest of the week, but yeah, life feeling pretty good. The one thing I find, I have been craving coffee like crazy, like no sugar, no nothing else. It's just coffee is the one thing that's been killing me. And Julie as well. Yeah. I don't know. I just sitting down with an herbal tea in the morning just isn't cutting it. Yes, and I see you nodding your head. Yeah, it just doesn't have.
Have you guys tried the replacements?
The which?
The coffee replacements, like the dandelion root and everything else?
No, but actually I got some dandelion to put in my Alka-Geyser this morning. I can't wait to try it. I was at a farm market yesterday and I saw some like nice big dandelion leaves. And I thought, oh, this will be pretty sweet. I'll try those.
Yeah. Svetlana, dandelion leaves. That's the other thing that's a very, very good bitter that I couldn't remember. So dandelion leaves are going to taste very, very green and very, very bitter. So that's something that a little goes a long way if it's raw. And when they're cooked, they, like some other leafy greens, will lose some of their potency in taste.
Well, that's what I discovered when I threw like I took a handful of cilantro and threw it in there.
Yeah.
Drinking a cup of cilantro, I couldn't taste anything else.
Yes, cilantro is very potent as an herb.
Yeah. So thanks for that warning. I wouldn't want to repeat the same mistake.
That one would be harder to get through, actually, for most people. I don't know if you guys are in the depths of spring, so it might actually be a little bit surprisingly sweeter. I'd really like to know. You can maybe share how it went.
Yeah, I'll try with the dandelion, let you know how it goes.
Good. But dandelion root, and there are some other roots that are usually combined, and it makes, like chicory is another one. And it's ground up, and then you would use it the same as you would use instant coffee. And it has an earthy taste, and it has that richness that people really like in coffee. So if you're an avid coffee drinker and you're offered a coffee or a chicory root coffee, you're probably still going to go with your coffee. But if you're at this point and it's something that you would really like, it would be interesting to try the chicory or the dandelion root and see if that satisfies that craving for you.
Okay, I just have to find out where to get it.
A lot of health food stores have it, or you might have to order it depending on where you are.
Vancouver, there should be enough health food stores. Should be able to track it.
Oh yeah, you'll find it really easily.
Yeah, Yeah, you know, when you said instant coffee, do I have a minute for like a horrible, I can't believe it's called food story?
Yeah.
Okay, it's when you said instant coffee, it for some reason reminded me of Coffee Mate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of you have put Coffee Mate in your coffee before, but about 20 some odd years ago, I was working in the film industry, and we were working on a really low budget independent music video. And we were using my pickup to haul the boxes of food stuff to the different sites where we were filming. And one night it was pouring rain, it was horrible weather, and I dropped the thing of Coffee Mate, and it spilled Coffee Mate on the bed of my pickup, and I didn't clean it up, and I thought I'll just clean it up one day when it's dry. Well, I forgot about it, and it was about a year later, I thought, oh, that glob of Coffee Mate is still there, I should clean it up. And you know, coffee or pickup beds have ridges and little channels. So this was right in the middle of the channel, so it wasn't really interfering with using the bed. So I grabbed a rag to wipe it up, and it was like grabbing a piece of concrete. And I thought, I can't believe it. This is like, I couldn't break it off. So I started kicking it with my boot. Then my toe started to hurt, and I thought, this is unbelievable. I can't believe people put this in coffee. So I got a hammer and started banging it with a hammer, and little flakes of it started coming off, but it still wouldn't move. So I had to get a mason chisel, and I put a mason chisel up against it and slammed it with a sledgehammer, like a 3-pound sledge. And most of it broke off and went flying out of my pickup like a rock, but some of it was still there. And my niece ended up having that pickup, and she just sold it a year ago. And that Coffee Mate was still crusted to the bed. It still had not come off after like 23 years. So like, I can't believe this is legally sold as a food product.
And how many people have it multiple times a day?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like go to any garage, any tire shop, anything, they have the free coffee with the Coffee Mate sitting right. Yeah.
Because it doesn't go bad. You can keep that little jar open for years, and it will still taste the same, and it will still have the same consistency.
Yep. Yeah, and I was trying to think, because I always take the free coffee. I always took the Coffee Mate, and I was thinking, oh my God, what do my intestines look like? This is horrible. Like, you could actually do wall repair with this stuff. Mix it with a little bit of water, spackle it onto like bricks or something. It'd be like a perfect patch. Yeah. So definitely turn down the free Coffee Mate if you ever see it somewhere. Just don't touch that stuff. It's not really a consumable product.
This is a time when you guys are doing so much cleansing. And when you're cleansing your body, things start to happen with your emotions. Some people will feel really emotional. Different memories will come up. Different fears will come up. Some people might be really irritable right now. And then they'll trigger a really sad memory that they hadn't thought about in 20 years. And then they'll start crying, and they won't know why they're crying about something that they didn't even realize was there. And this is all that built up residue in your body. And the same as you release physically and emotionally, you need to release mentally. And that's why some of us will feel a little bit of restlessness. We'll be cleaning our houses or cleaning up our offices and letting go of other things. Good time for you to examine marketing. Look at what you see on the TV, what you hear on the radio, what you see in Facebook ads, everything else. Look at foods and everything else that's being marketed to you and how strategically they are marketed to make you feel a certain way and think a certain thing. Marketing is so powerful, and before this you may or may not have been aware of it. Some of you might be in marketing and advertising, but whether you are or you aren't, it's just such a good time to examine why we want certain foods and looking at whether they are supportive foods. Will they actually help us? Will they help us to feel better, live longer, be more agile, be more vital, or are they going to hurt us? And if they're going to hurt us, why do we still want them? And all of those examinations are what is going to make that little food devil or sugar monster diminish in power. He might be really strong this week, or he might just pop up at different moments, but that is really what's going to help you get through this spring and come out, you know, 1,000,000 times stronger and 1,000,000 times smarter about food. So Dan, thank you so much for sharing.
No problem. Just one other thing, Julie, I love that painting behind you. That's so cute. Anyway, see you, everyone.
Thanks, Dan.
Oh, hey. Hey. That's going really good.
Oh, it was me. I got muted. That's weird. Anyway, Alicia, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, I can hear ya. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Well, I had kind of a shitty weekend. I went away to a women's retreat and had totally planned with the retreat workshop leader about my diet, and she assured me it was all taken care of. So I get to the retreat, and sure enough, she hadn't even talked to the cooks. So, so luckily I had been smart enough and I had made some little kind of protein beef and bacon wrap things. And I brought those and I brought all my alkagizers and I brought a thing of celery and cucumbers. So I was able to eat that. The next morning, they said that they had eggs for me. And I said, okay, I'll have eggs. So the eggs came, they were all scrambled. And I said, are you sure these are eggs? And he assured me they were eggs. They're real eggs. And I tasted them and I took a few bites and something in my mouth just was like, these are not real eggs. And so I went up to him and I said, can I see the package that these real eggs came in? And he came out with a container and they're called real eggs, but it's in it's liquid and it has all these chemicals. And I was so mad. I was just like livid by that time. And so he assured me then, he brought me out chicken. He made me a piece of chicken breast and I bit into it and I was like, this is not real chicken. So everything, I had no, and I felt like I really cheated the program because I had these few bites of it. And all weekend I obsessed about it. And got home and I got on the scale and I'm not any lighter. So I'm kind of upset about that.
But what happened in those 3 bites?
I tasted the chemicals.
You tasted it,
and
right?
I trusted my instincts and through it all, like it's kind of I feel really emotional, but you know, all my friends, all my girlfriends at the table were just, oh, just eat it. I didn't feel supported, you know, and it was like, no, I really have to be true to myself here. So in that aspect, I did. I took care of myself, right? But I just really gypped and deceived and kind of like just, I don't know, just really deceived.
Well, he wasn't lying to you. They were eggs. There's that clever marketing, right?
Like 100% beef at McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything is marketable. You can buy any trademark to a real name of food. That clever marketing. But you know what, Alicia? It sounds
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's the feelings I'm left with, like I've fucked up on the program. Like I've messed up.
But really, you took that experience, which is a really challenging experience, to be away from your comfort zone in this part of the program. And you made accommodations for yourself. You were organized so that you would have things with you. And then someone served you something where it could have been so easy, like your friend said, oh, just eat it. And you could have just eaten it and then felt really bad about it. But no, you challenged it and said, this doesn't taste right to me. This doesn't feel right to me. So that is actually a big success.
Yeah.
Because this is not just the challenge weeks. This is not just 13 weeks. This is the rest of your life. You are relearning how to have a relationship with food and everything and everyone that has to do with the food that we eat. So I think overall that is a really big win. And yeah, maybe a little bit of weight didn't come off because of the experience, but it shows that you're getting so much stronger emotionally and mentally. So
Yeah.
how did the rest of the weekend go? Do you have some WildFitters coming our way in December?
I'm hoping. Lots of conversation about it, and you know, at one point because I was really, the first night we were there, we got put into this lodge, and oddly enough, there was a couple next door that were not part of the women's retreat, and they were really high on drugs, and he ended up beating the shit out of her, and the police came, and so it was just a really kind of traumatic night for the first night, and
It's so traumatic.
It is, and then they changed us into a different place, and that felt better, and I felt like it really was there to take care of myself, and I had to work extra hard to do that, just in everything that was coming at me, and now I'm feeling a little bit sick in my chest, and I think that might be a little bit of releasing that's happening, and I'm feeling emotional, and I feel disappointed that I'm not losing more weight. That's a big thing for me, and I look at, you know, what am I eating that I could eliminate that it might be causing me. And I mean, I'm a creature of habit. I have my 3 eggs in the morning, I have my 2 alkalizers a day, I have my pistachios, I have my organic meat from the butcher, I have my cut up cucumber and celery and lettuce, and that's what I have every single day, and I don't know what I need to eliminate to get this weight going off quicker.
Well, it might not be the food. It's not all about the food. So some people, just depending on your history with weight gain and weight loss throughout the whole course of your life, as well as the current state of your metabolism, are all going to play a factor. So here we are, it's only week 8. You've done so much work, and it might feel like it's been forever, but it's such a short amount of time. So really, patience, consistency, you will get to where you want to go if you believe that that's where you want to go. If you see yourself where you want to be, and sometimes that sounds really cheesy, but focus on that instead of focusing on the things that are holding you back. And I almost guarantee, because you can't guarantee anything in life, but I think that will really help you see some progress.
Okay,
and you guys, and look at your little progress markers. Like, it is about weight for some people, but it's not all about weight. So are you feeling a decrease in any pain or in soreness of joints? Do you have better sleep? Is your digestion a little bit more smooth? So, you know, less gas, less irritation, those kind of things. Do you have reduced allergies or headaches? Any of those things are really positive markers. So take note. Actually, you know what you could do? Go back and look at the week 1 video and find your face and look at how different you look now from then.
Okay.
Even just that little thing will let you see how much you've changed. If you like, do some measurements, because our weight isn't telling. You take some measurements. Don't just take one. Look at your whole body and see if you've lost some inches. Okay. Any of those kind of things. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Alicia. I'm sorry that your weekend away was not what you wanted, but I'm sure that you got some. And I look forward to meeting your referrals in our December class. So.
Okay. Thanks.
Jennifer, did you still have something to share?
Me? Oh.
Yeah, you.
Oh. When
Maybe you were just
still,
waiting to get my attention when I was on mute.
Oh, I'm holding a cell phone, so any hand movements probably are accentuated. But sorry, I was late to the call, so I don't know what was discussed at the beginning. But yeah, no, I could share a little bit. I've felt a bit bored with food recently, and I think the tricky part for me is feeling like, okay, this is easy, I feel great, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I don't know about this anymore, and just how it comes and goes, that contrast. I guess the lows, even though they're not as low as they previously were, seem low in contrast to the ups that I felt, which is great. And so I want to focus on those successes. I have a trip coming up in less than 2 weeks, and I plan on living WildFit while I'm there, even though I know everyone else will be celebrating and eating in celebratory style. And yeah, so I think that's hard, seeing the people around me eating in the old ways and having a glass of wine, and yeah, I don't know. So I'm curious how I'll manage that when I'm there. And I know that there's some changes coming up next week, and I'm not trying to lose any more weight. So I know my changes will come maybe sooner. And I don't know if that means bringing fruit back in, but I'm going to Hawaii, and I hope that I could have a little bit of fruit, but I'll leave the surprise if that's what we have to do. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. And the irritability and grumpiness that you spoke to earlier, I definitely experienced that here and there.
So the interesting thing, people, when you are on vacation or at an event and you see your loved ones or friends eating in the old way, like you say, what are you really missing about that experience?
I think it's easier for me to relax into connecting with them if I have a glass of wine with them. So I think it's that connection and being a part of what they're doing. It's not so much food. I don't really miss the food so much. Sorry, what's that?
A little bit of liquid lubricant for the conversation.
Exactly.
Most of us can identify with that.
Yeah.
So what I found, and this might be true for other people or maybe not, but I'm from a place called Nova Scotia, Canada. And Maritimers are descendants from the Irish and the Brits and the Scots and the French, and they all love to drink. So any occasion here, there's always some drinks going around.
The sociables.
And so
I think I was out
about
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it wasn't binge drinking. It was just, you're going out to dinner and you're going to have some wine with friends, or you're going to go to a party, and of course you're going to get drunk because everybody gets drunk. That's how you have fun. So this was what I learned from my peers when I was really young. And I carried that with me. Like, I was even teaching, so I was living in Cabarete and I was teaching spinning. I was teaching at the gym, so I was teaching like TRX classes and weight classes. I was kiteboarding, and I was still like 15, 20 pounds over my healthy weight, and that was all booze. Because of course, after our spin class, who doesn't want to go for mojitos, right? Like, that's just part of, that was what normal was. And I couldn't see a way that my social awkwardness would go away without drinking. And the trick was, because I had one friend and she never drank, and she always seemed to be like the most fun. And I thought, oh, she just must really be an extrovert. But she was like, no, just give it time and wait until everyone else starts to feel a little bit tipsy from their booze. Because that energy, that fun is actually infectious. So if you stay tuned in and you stay connected to the group that you're with, you can actually get silly and you can get open, and do some dancing and everything else that you might not think that you can do without booze, because they're carrying the energy for you. So you still get to have a great time, but you don't get the hangover.
That sounds good.
I don't know. It might not work for everybody, but I found for the past 2 years, it's worked really well for me. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Just an experiment. You can let us know how it goes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And I'm sure that, is it Jackie who's dealing with, I don't know, someone will be in touch with you about your enhancements for your next week. Do we have anyone else on the call who is in category 1? Do you guys remember your categories? Dan is a category 1. So, and Lenika, is that how I say your name? You're in category 1 as well. So once you get to category 1, depending, I mean, like if you're still at like a healthy weight, try to stay in it for at least another week, because you're cycling that fat, you're detoxifying your body, you're bringing in all of those nutrients. So I encourage you just spend a little more time there. And if it gets to the point where you really feel like you are depleted, then talk to one of us about maybe shifting it a little bit. Okay? Category 2s, category 3s, keep doing what you're doing. It might feel tough. It is going to get easier. Does anybody else would anyone else like to share some of their progress markers, even just venting to the group? Everybody quiet, contemplative. Sarah's looking really tired over there. Well, I'm gonna have to call, oh, there we go. Hesitant hand up.
Hi.
Lenika, am I saying your name properly?
It's Lenica. Close enough.
Lenika.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Very similar to Jennifer, where I am a little bit bored with the food that I have. Just been playing around looking at everybody's recipes. I think my food double I find this week talked the loudest, because I was, out shopping in the mall, passing by the food court, and it was just like, well, you're doing so well, like just have this little thing or that little thing. So yeah, it was kind of like, when are we going to do something else kind of mood. So maybe a little bit cranky. A couple of times I felt really, really lethargic. Like I just wanted to like not move at all, from where I was on the couch or what have you. And it was so like I was at my niece's on the weekend, and I fell asleep in front of her, and like she was like for her 2-year birthday, and I was like so tired. I mean, I regained the energy after, but yeah, I've not felt that tired in like a really, really long time. So I don't know, and I can't say if I've necessarily felt the switch yet. But I'm not in it. Wait, I am looking for energy and just making sure I do healthy eating. So this week's been pretty frustrating for me.
Well, have you, other than Dan, has anybody ever been in full fat burning mode before? No? So, TD over there, I see you. So when we're switching into fat burning mode, you're basically reversing an engine. So your body's been chugging ahead, and even if you have been eating relatively healthfully before on a carbohydrate engine, you are telling your body, well, that food source or fuel source is no longer there, and now I want you to burn what's over here. And your body is like, no, we've been doing this for a really long time. Just give me some food. Just give me some food. Give me food. So it just takes longer than most people want it to take. And some bodies, it switches really quickly. And other people, it can take a lot longer. There are some factors that we can change, but for some people, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just the way your nature and your nurturing are coming together, and it's making for a stubborn switch. So when you're feeling extra lethargic and kind of really down and things like this, it's an indicator that your switch is very, very close. Because your body, and this is not true for all bodies, but it seems like your body needs to get to a point where it's completely out of fuel and out of options, and then it's going to be like, okay, I'll try burning some fat. So I would say that you're almost there. And when it comes to variety, or, you know, just really boredom with what you're eating, what were the things before this that you would turn to as like exciting foods or different foods in your diet?
Oh, anything. I would, because I like to go out and try different foods. So I would try. I did go a lot more into carbs, so like the potatoes, root vegetables, stuff like that. So I try a lot of those in different ways, as well as protein. So I've been experimenting with the veggies, and I just went grocery shopping last night. So I'm buying different types now, as well as the same ones that I've been buying, like spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. So I have some recipes lined up this week that I'm gonna try again and not be as frustrated last week as I am. Yeah. But yeah, no, this week was the hardest of the 7 weeks so far.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit harder, and then it gets a heck of a lot easier for a lot of people, because once you like TD's feeling where you're like, I have lots of energy, I'm really great, I'm good to go, I'm sleeping really well, everything's awesome, then it's a lot more motivating to stay with the spring way of eating for a little bit longer. If you're still at the pre-flip point, it can be challenging. So creating some variety with your vegetables will be really, really great. And also noticing if it's, you know, if you used to go to lots of restaurants and try different foods there, see if you can seek out different restaurants that have like raw vegan food, or they're more paleo oriented or keto oriented, and see if you can go there and find something that will work within the spring, you know, requirements for you. That's really what I would recommend, because a lot of us say, and I said this when I was in like week 7 and week 8, I was like, I am so deprived. I love creating new recipes, and I feel like I can't experiment. I feel like I have no freedom. Like, these were all my feelings. And I was like, I'm so bored with food. And something Eric said was like, how many foods did you really eat in the course of a week before WildFit? You know, how much variety did you really have? Or did it just feel like you had more variety because you enjoyed the food a little bit more? Because realistically, most of us, when we go grocery shopping, or when we went grocery shopping before WildFit, we were still just always having the same foods and always having the same recipes, maybe with a different restaurant here or there. It just felt like we had more options.
Awesome.
It's a lot harder to get sick of meat and potatoes than it is to get sick of salads or green vegetables.
Yeah, I have some recipes lined up.
And that's really good to hear. Yeah. And it seems like you're doing really well. Your face is just like glowing. You look so good.
Probably the
But it was interesting when you were at the mall and your food devil was saying, oh, you know, like maybe just a little bit of this. Or maybe I could try that. It's going so well, I could just have a little. What was your dialogue there?
Well, initially, because I'm not here to lose weight, but I weighed myself, and since the beginning of the program, I've lost weight, you know, a couple of pounds here and there. My dialogue was, well, I've gotten this far, let's just see. But walking through the food court, like, you know, I was with like my parents or like my friends, and they stopped in the food court. I had to be a lot more mindful of which place I went to and what I asked for, you know, at those places. Or I just, you know, we just said, okay, let's take it to go on, and I left and we went somewhere else for me to have something. So it was tough. A couple of times I felt like I was almost going to agree with my food devil to say, yeah, why can't I? So I had to pull away fast, because then I probably might have listened to the devil those couple of times, you know, passing by like tacos or, you know, something that I really, really liked, like I missed like rice sometimes and potatoes. So I turned it. I had to leave right away, type of thing. Yeah, pretty much. Those times because I was having I was actually getting hungry too. So I knew what I needed to do next time was I brought my snacks with me. So at least that stuff. So the preparation is definitely key, like what Eric said. Because that day I remember I had like a nut mix and I left it at home. So I think it added to the frustration that I didn't have anything right away and I needed to eat. So I was a little bit grumpy that day when we were talking.
Well, it sounds like you have a really good handle on it. And you're right, preparation is so key. Never let yourself get hungry. Never, ever get hungry. Yeah. Because that's when the food devil sees an opportunity. So even if it means eating a little bit of dinner before you go to dinner at a friend's house, or like you said, eating before you go out with friends, it'll really make all the difference. And it'll make sticking to the program that much easier.
Yeah, I have my snacks in my purse now, like ready to go.
Good to hear.
So it helps.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Did you know that you can make tortillas out of flax and eggs? Maybe as a challenge, try to make tacos, but make spring tacos.
Okay, I'll look it up.
And let's see how it goes.
Okay. I found some recipe for some herb biscuits without any, made with like crushed almonds and stuff. So I'm going to try some recipes, and if it works, I'll put it on Facebook.
Did you guys know you can make bread out of cauliflower? You can make flatbread and you can make biscuits out of cauliflower, and it's so good. I have one of the recipes on the website, so you guys should look for it.
I'll try that.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to get to Sarah before we have to go, but Lenica, it was really good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
So far, so good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's funny listening to people. I'm just beginning my week 6 because I was a little slow. I was away for the first week. But a funny thing happened over the weekend for me. I'm still struggling with what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I don't see a result. I'm not feeling the result. It's just the whole big, and then listening to that, my devil, Eric, what? We're not allowed to have sweet stuff, fruit? I've been just, it really hit me this weekend, and I was just, I couldn't even tell you what I was, but I was, and I finally broke down and went out and bought a scale. We don't have scales. I never had a scale, but I bought a scale because it's like, what the hell am I doing this for? Been on this for like way too long. Not really, but yes. And I weighed myself, and I was 17 pounds lighter. It's like, holy. And there's a shirt in my closet that I've never worn because, thank you. I haven't worn a shirt, one of my favorite shirts, for over a year. And I pulled it out this weekend, and I tried it on, and it fit. It's like, all right, Eric, you can be on the good side now then. So that was it was funny. I wasn't feeling results, and I never liked the scale because it lies. But we actually bought one, and it's like, wow, it was shocking. So I'm looking forward not really to this bad couple of spring weeks, but it's good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for sharing. And like Sarah is feeling, this too shall pass. This is a period of supreme cleansing, and you're making so much progress. Even if it's unnoticeable right now, you are still building a foundation towards really good progress. So like Sarah, maybe you can see those numbers moving in a really surprising way. And if not, try really, I cannot emphasize this enough, write down other ways in which you have progressed. Or if you were smart enough to write down all of the things that you would like to see on your dashboard on WildFit at the beginning of the program, go back and look at that. Take your measurements. Take note of how you're sleeping. how you are going through daily tasks. Do you get stressed out the same way? And it seems like all of you, let's take note. You are in what can be a very restrictive season. There are only certain supportive foods that you are eating. And like Alicia, you are going to events with your friends and sticking to the program. You know, like Jennifer, you're preparing to go to Hawaii and you're making preparations to stick to the program. There's so many people doing so many really amazing things that I think if you jumped into WildFit for the first time on this week, there's no way that you would be able to do it. So you've built up this foundation. You can do it and you can stick to it. It might feel tough. It will get easier. Like Sarah, before you mentioned about the scale, I did this one class and we got to week 8 and nobody was happy. There was no one person on the call. There were people in the group, but not on the live call, who were seeing the results that they wanted, and everybody was cranky and everybody hated me. There were like daggers in every set of eyes, like, you did this to me and I'm going to tell you all of the horrible things that. So that was what I was faced with. And there was one woman on the call, her name was also Sarah, and she was like, I am getting sick because of this program. No one told me about these weeks. I was not prepared. I'm going to quit. This is terrible. And she ranted for like 5 minutes. She completed the challenge, one of the happiest people I've ever seen. She released like 25 pounds. For her frame, that was huge. And now she's a member of the WildFit community, and she just posted yesterday that when she started, she would never wear a bathing suit. And she's posing in this picture like a little pinup model in a bikini, and she's released 35 pounds total, and she posts in the WildFit community book like every second day. She's so happy. So right now, it might feel really challenging, but just imagine where you can be at the end of the program and beyond. And I hope that that will empower you to stick with it. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Stay strong. Keep drinking your water. Keep doing your breathing. Everybody is doing amazing. And keep posting in the group. I will keep answering your questions and try to give you guys some interesting recipes. And hopefully everyone will have a good week. And I will see you next week. Sound good? Okay, everybody, have a good rest of your day.